YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with another episode of Terrible Take Tuesday. Another good episode here. We've had some good entries. Appreciate you guys sending us some terrible takes in the sports world on Twitter. But if you're new to this, basically we take terrible takes from the sports world and rip them a little bit. So pretty interesting stuff. Feel free to submit any that you find. So far, we've done all NFL takes. Doesn't have to be NFL. Could be sports related. So I'm excited to get into another episode of this right before we get started. Subscriber goals at 40K by the end of this year. Be much appreciated if you could subscribe. Click that like button. Check out our Twitter. We will have full coverage of the NFL this season, so cannot wait for that. Preseason week 1 starting this week. So I'm pumped. We're getting real close to the actual regular season. Let's get on to the terrible takes, though. First one, I'm sure everyone really probably came across this on Twitter. Yahoo Sports decided to rank the most tortured NFL fan bases. And then somebody that pointed this out to me, there's their Twitter handle on the bottom right. Appreciate you very much, Ellers Bane. And then you could, if anybody has any terrible takes they find for future episodes, feel free to DM me on Twitter, link in the description, and you'll get the shout out as well. So, most tortured fan bases. I mean, I pretty much agree with most of these, but I was just stunned to see a team like the Packers in there at 9. I mean, they won Super Bowls. They've actually won a somewhat recent one. They've had a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback. I guess he's been beat up the last 2 years, so maybe that's where they're getting tortured. But I don't think Packers fan bases have it tough at all, to be honest. Where are the Browns? Like, how are the Browns not up there? I mean, that's got to be a top tier. That's got to be a top 3. The Browns, the crap the fan bases had to been getting over the years. I mean, maybe they're basing it off of right now, but it still doesn't really make any sense to me. I mean, you could have thrown other teams in there too, like other fan bases, like the Bills. The Cardinals never won a Super Bowl as well, and they, just drafted Josh Rosen a year ago, and they had to pretty much trade him for just a year later. So I'm sure fans are getting ripped for that. Teams like that, I'm kind of surprised that a team like the Packers are up there. I mean, the Niners won, their fair share of Super Bowls. It's been a while, but, I don't know if they really belong either. But like Browns, Bills, Cardinals come to my mind when they could be up here. Yeah, the Falcons make sense, even though they've had some pretty good teams. They make sense because they never won a Super Bowl, come pretty close, and especially a couple years ago against the Patriots. Giants, Jets make sense at the top. What else are we looking at? Yeah, I'm a Vikings fan myself. It's been pretty rough. Kind of the Vikings have been known for choking. They've had plenty good enough teams to win a Super Bowl. You talk about, Culpepper or even Cunningham. The Cunningham days with Moss and Carter, and Culpepper with Moss and Carter had a good enough team. And then the Brett Favre year, pretty dominant. I think they were the favorites, lost to the Saints in overtime. And are going back to the 98 championship, too, against the Falcons. They choked that one away. Gary Anderson, who never missed he didn't miss a kick that year, one of the best kickers of all time, misses a kick to pretty much send the Vikings to the Super Bowl. That happened, and then a couple years ago, after the miracle, going against the Eagles, been pretty rough. A lot of expectations, but the Vikings fans come to expect it, I think. I've had people talk about before last year, I had people come up to me that know I'm a Vikings fan, be like, this is the year. I'm like, you would think so, but you never know with them. I think a lot of Vikings fans kind of are on the same page with me there. You kind of expect a letdown almost. I mean, the expectations are for them to be a good team, especially like this year. But, I mean, they'll probably choke at some point during this year. Kind of expect. That's what I'm getting at. So I'm kind of wondering if the other fan bases are kind of the same thing here. Yeah, the Lions had it pretty rough. They had a stretch where they had a big, not only losing stretch, but just terrible season. So that was unfortunate. So yeah, I don't really disagree with most of these. The Niners you can argue, but the Packers I really disagree with that one. So I thought that was interesting. Wondering your guys' thoughts there in the comments. Next one, somebody sent me this tweet. I decided to blur out if it's anybody, which I didn't do a great job blurring that out. If it's somebody like random that I don't want anybody to go rip them. But on the bottom right, that is Cole Snipes who brought this tweet to my attention. So that's their entry, his entry. So that's not the person who tweeted it. But somebody said, it's amazing to me that Andrew Luck is not considered injury prone, yet Carson Wentz is. I like Luck. He's not better than Wentz or Deshaun Watson, though. This isn't too terrible to me. But, I mean, I guess you can make, there's got to be some kind of argument that you can make that Wentz and Watson are better, not what they've proven, but like maybe for this season they're predicting them to be better. So I guess I'm not going to bash that too much. Just Andrew Luck, they think he should be injury prone, and they don't like that Carson Wentz is. Well, Carson Wentz got hurt the last 2 years, so there is a little, they could have been playing it safe. As I was going to go back, I don't think Luck's injury prone because I think he could have came back a while ago, a couple years ago, and they were playing it safe because they knew they weren't going to win anything. I thought that was smart. But I feel like it's a little different with Wentz, and he's gotten hurt the last 2 years, so I don't know if you really can compare the two. I don't think either are injury prone, honestly. If I'm being honest here, if I really think about it, if Wentz gets hurt again this year, then I would consider, well, I guess if Luck and Wentz got hurt this year, maybe I would consider both. But Luck, I think it was more of them just playing it safe. In the back of my mind, there is a small, a thought, I guess, that Luck could get hurt, but it's very small. Wentz, it's kind of like, yeah, it could happen because it happened at the end of the last 2 seasons. So, yeah, I guess it's not that terrible of a take, but it's an interesting debate. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. But Luck is better than Wentz and Watson, so I guess you could consider that terrible. But if you're kind of predicting, maybe this person is predicting them to have a better season. I don't think that's too out there, honestly, but I would pick Luck over them. But pretty interesting stuff. So anybody got any thoughts on that? You know where to go, the comments section. Next one. This one is from Trevor Kinney. He submitted this to me on Twitter. Appreciate you. And then there's a couple tweets. Didn't blur this one out because Barry McCockner is kind of well known. He's had a lot of followers, so we can rip him all we want here. I don't think he may not even notice it because he's got that many followers. But basically, ripping Tom Brady. So if you want to read through it, I'll read through it. One of these guys sees a major drop in efficiency in every major statistical category once the playoffs come around. The other is Peyton Manning. So ripping Tom Brady. Then he's saying that Peyton does it too. Exactly. One gets the choker label though. And somebody replied to him, weird. You would think players' stats would get better when playing elite teams in cold weather. And then he said, I would expect the supposed GOATs to get better in the playoffs. Yes. And then the person replied again, to expect someone's stats to get better in harder situation is nonsense. So, yeah, I would agree with that, with Brad there in that scenario. Yeah, you think it gets tougher in the playoffs. I think this person is just finding ways to rip Brady, just trying to find something. That's what I take away from this. They're just trying to find a negative to rip the supposed GOAT. To me, he is the GOAT. And he just keeps winning. The goal, take everything away, the stats away. The goal for everybody, for why this league exists, why these teams exist, why the owners want teams in the NFL is to win a championship, to win the Super Bowl. Tom Brady keeps doing that. And that's why you really can't take shots like this. Peyton Manning maybe put up better numbers at times, struggled to win down the stretch because you play tougher competition. It's a team sport too. Brady got it done. Very smart. Helps the rest of the team a lot too. I think it is nonsense. It's nonsense to be looking to bash somebody because their stats didn't improve by a lot because they're playing against better teams. It's just nonsense. That's the best way to explain it. So thought that was an interesting one. Appreciate the you submitting there. That one there, Kenny. And to the next one. So yeah, this one I got 2 people shouting out here. Brady Polk kind of brought me to, told me to check out this YouTube channel for Pro Football Talk. And then who brought me to this specific video was Thomas Jansen there. So appreciate you guys. You guys are on the same page there. I like it. So basically this video, for well-known guys too, Florio and Sims there. Basically this video was talking about which defense improved the most in the offseason. And then 2 of the teams there were Browns and Rams. They had 4 teams. The other 2 were Chiefs, which I'm not really going to argue against. Maybe you could have found better teams. They did get Frank Clark. They did get Tyrann Matthew, so I'm not going to argue against that one. And the other one was the 49ers, which I'm not going to argue against because they really just got a good pass rush just like that with D Ford and Bosa. So I definitely agree with the Niners one. But the Browns and the Rams, to me, you couldn't find, and then Thomas Jansen brought to my attention, I think he said the Packers and the Lions, and I would agree. I think those are 2 that should be they definitely improved more than the Browns and the Rams, in my opinion. The Rams got, I think they mentioned they got, kind of wish it showed in that graphic, they got Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle. That's why they're in there. Two kind of washed up guys. So I thought that was interesting take. I like the way the Rams drafted a lot. I like Taylor Rapp. I think he can make more of an impact than Weddle, actually. That's pretty bold take. But with Clay Matthews and Eric Weddle, which was their point, I disagree with that. I think that's two veterans on a decline. That's not going to improve their defense big time. And they lost Sue. Sue played very well in the playoffs. So yeah, I don't know. They lost LaMarcus Joyner. I wasn't a huge fan of his game last year, but as Eric Weddle, I think Taylor Rapp could be better than both of them. I really like Taylor Rapp, but he's only a rookie. But in the Browns, Olivier Vernon, I hated his game last year. I'd actually go and say that he played bad last year. Like, he actually played bad. Sometimes I'll say I don't like guys' game. People were hyping him up a little bit too much, but I still think they were good. Vernon had a bad season, and I don't know if is he going to figure out. Maybe he'll figure it out going on the Browns, but I don't think that's a big time addition. Sure, it could help your team in ways. Sheldon Richardson's a pretty good addition, but and they drafted pretty well, but it's not really a team. Maybe they improve because of the youth. The youth gets better. That makes more sense, but they're kind of talking about because of these key additions, Olivier Vernon and Sheldon Richardson. I like Richardson, but I don't know. I thought team like the Packers, I thought I wasn't a fan. I was kind of really not buying into the Packers last couple years because their defense, and they haven't really done much. And maybe that goes more into that, or more goes into that because of maybe Rodgers was hurt, but their defense definitely needed an upgrade, and I think they did it. It's not a major upgrade. I still don't think that defensive-wise they compete with the Bears and the Vikings at division, but they definitely got better, and they have some youth there. So I thought the Packers, and then talking about the Lions had Trey Flowers, they had Mike Daniels, they draft real well. So I think the Lions improved too. I mean, there's a few other teams. I agree with their Niners and Chiefs. So that's just kind of my thoughts on that. I was surprised by the Rams mainly. I was surprised by because they might have got. I don't want to say they got worse because they drafted well, and I mean I guess Matthews and Weddle somehow they help a little bit at least. I think Matthews helps a little more. They did lose Sue though. Again, I thought he was big time in the playoffs. So we'll see. And there's some age on that team here and there too. So we'll see. I just thought that was interesting. But again, so we're clear, if anybody's seen this video, I did agree. I'll agree with the Chiefs, not like, yes, 100% the Chiefs improved. Like, I'm not like crazy about the Chiefs, but I'm okay with that. The Niners for sure definitely improved, so I'd agree with that one. So let me know your guys' thoughts. I mentioned the Packers, Lions. I'm pretty sure I'm probably missing somebody there, so if anyone wants to throw one in there, we can discuss in the comments. But that's going to be it for Terrible Take Tuesday. You could submit some good ones if you find them on our Twitter. DMs are open. That would be much appreciated if you helped us out there for future videos. This possibly will stop when the season starts because we had a lot planned for the season, but we will see. I'm sure there'll be terrible takes during the season. But, we're going to have a schedule come out a little closer to the season start to what we're actually going to do each week for the NFL season. We got some big things coming here at the Go House. Stay tuned. We'll keep you updated. Would much appreciate a subscription, a like. Appreciate everyone's support out there. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.